Hey guys, Ben Paint here, and today we're back once again for another video, and this time we are back at Teamsport Bristol for our first time in a month, and we are taking on the third and final round of the Grid Series Championship. So you can see here the footage on the screen is in fact from one of the heats, which I'll explain the situation regarding the footage at the end of the video. However, in the meantime, I'm going to jump straight into this one. This was in fact the second heat of the night. You can see we have Harley and Sam up ahead of us. So before we get into the rest of the video, if you are new here, can you please hit the subscribe button down below, as it really does help me out. And if you enjoy this video, can you also hit the like button too, as it really does mean a lot to me. But we're going to jump straight into the video. Obviously this one's a little bit shorter as it's only one heat of footage. So you can see we come across the line in our first lap of 41.660, and we are currently in third place. Now in this one, in terms of the championship standings overall, I already was quite far ahead. So by qualifying in third place and being placed in a heat with Harley and Sam, who are both lightweight drivers, whereas I'm a middleweight, their position didn't really affect me too much. So I decided in this one that I was going to sit behind them and try and work on going for quick lap times, just because obviously BIKC at the time of recording is starting this week, and I wanted to try and focus on maintaining my speed behind two very quick drivers down at Bristol, two of the quicker drivers. So I just wanted to analyse and have a quick commentary over their race whilst I'm also driving around as well. So you can see we come across the line there, still in third place with a 38.281, and you can see the pair of them up ahead are battling with each other quite hard. There was only 6 points separating both of them coming into the last round of the Grid Series, so I didn't want to be a bit of an annoyance and sort of get mixy with them and disrupt them. So I just thought if they're in the same heat, then they can race each other, and I'll just sort of sit back with my bag of popcorn and watch the fun unfold. So you can see again we come across the line with a faster lap so far, a 38.260, getting the line out of the Mickey Mouse a little bit wrong, clipping the barrier, which caused me to lose a little bit of time. You can see with the battling up ahead, the two drivers, Sam and Harley, actually allow me to catch up to them a little bit into the hairpin. So we're still just trying to sit behind them, trying to take as clean angles as we can through the corners, hitting all the apexes and really minimising the track distance. So coming into the last corner once again, you can see how much time we're gaining by being able to have that little bit of a gap, sort of working on lap times to sort of close up some. But you can see on that lap, obviously making that mistake through the Mickey Mouse has corresponded in us having a slower lap time by about half a tenth. So a 38.306 our last lap, and now we're looking to improve on that a little bit more. Now one area that I was really sort of messing up in for the whole of this evening was the bottom hairpin. I found that the two guys up ahead were able to really break away from me through there, whereas I was able to sort of regain that time through the other corners, or sort of preserve the time rather than lose a lot more in other areas. You can see going a little bit wayward there, losing a little bit more time, making a few mistakes there, bumping the barriers and losing the toe to the two drivers ahead. But you can still see we come around on the last lap with a low 38-second lap at 38.157, so a really respectable time at the moment, especially as we did make a few mistakes, as I mentioned. And again, you could see trying to get a good exit up the ramp, but I'm not quite getting there, and this is causing the two guys to sort of break away into the distance. Obviously having a nice good fight now at this point. I was waiting for Sam to sort of size up and move on Harley. You can see Harley's defending quite well, and obviously this is only allowing me to sort of come up to the back of them as well and really get involved. Obviously, as I said, I didn't really fancy racing the pair of them. I was just sort of sitting behind and going for lap times, but if I was going for a move, I think I would have tried to capitalise on some of the racing that was going on. Obviously they were slowing each other down, looking over each other's shoulders, sort of throwing each other off, and this was really creating some openings, especially down the inside of the bottom hairpin there. So you can see we're coming up the ramp again. We've gained a bit of time back through the battling. Obviously we've now minimising our mistakes, we're settling into the kart we're using, and now we're really starting to tag along to the back of them. So again, you can see just trying to take as smooth a line through the double hairpin section as I can, and again really trying to stick it tight through the double hairpin at the bottom through the big right hander. And we come across the line on this lap with 37.841, which I believe was actually one of my fastest laps of the night. So I was really happy with this at 37.8, a really respectable time, especially as we're coming up to BIKC season. You can see Sam goes for a big move down the inside, down the right hand side. I try and give Harley a little bit of a bump. He tells us to work together. Obviously, as I said, I wasn't really looking for an overtake, but I knew pretty quickly that Harley was going to go for another move on Sam. So I was really interested to see how he would reply in this situation. Obviously Sam sent it down the inside of a pretty clean move, a late dive bomb on him in the bottom hairpin, and this has only allowed me to tag right up to the back of them. Now at this point we had actually gained about a 6 or 7 second lead on any of the drivers behind him, 4th place. You can see no one is anywhere near us. You can see the big group there on the left hand side. So we really had sort of broken away now at this point, and we were just looking to work together to try and maintain that gap and then sort of have a little battle at the end. So you can see Sam now having to play a little bit more defensive here as Harley's looking to pounce on him as much as he can. So you can see Sam goes really defensive there. This allows Harley to really close up through the top 2 hairpins. Now he's sort of pushing him down the ramp almost, and I'm sort of sitting back a little bit more. And again, through the double right-hander there at the bottom of the ramp, we've really closed up again, losing a little bit of time on the exit. We come across the line on that lap 38.178, so really trying to get as close as we can through the Mickey Mouse section without making any contact. Unfortunately made a little bit of contact there with the inside barrier, and we can see Harley goes for a huge move down the inside there, but unfortunately couldn't quite get the brakes on quick enough, and you can see Sam squeezing Harley down the inside here. I think that was a bit of a dirty move there, if I'm honest. I decided to move around to the right hand side to sort of preserve the position, didn't want to go for a move on Harley. Sort of gave him a little bit of a bump through, try and give him a little bit more momentum. You can see he's asking me to work together again. I wasn't trying to go for a move on him, so yeah, definitely a bit of a dirty move from Sam there. I'd say he was about 10% beside, not 50-50, but we can't always have clean racing. So again, we're going to go through the bottom section of the track again through the Mickey Mouse. Obviously our last lap was a little bit slower, 38.899, due to that little bit of carnage going through the big right hander at the top of the ramp. So again, just trying to catch up to the back of them there, losing a little bit of time through the Mickey Mouse section and the bottom hairpin. So really trying to get my head down now and try and get some good lap times in if I can. I want to get as consistently in the 37 seconds as I can. Obviously all of the karts at the moment feel really equal, they feel really good, and I was really enjoying using them too. So we're continuing behind them both now at this point, just trying to maintain the gap, and you can see we come across the line with another 37 second lap, which I was really happy with at 37.952. So again, trying to stay consistently in the 37 second lap times. As I mentioned, obviously the fastest lap of the night was actually set by Sam, who's up in first. He got a 37.5, so if we get anywhere near that I would have been really happy, but obviously one of our fastest laps of the evening was a 37.8. we did actually get compromised in the final, so when I felt that I probably would have been at my strongest, I was unable to put in a super quick lap time, but I still put in a lap time that was pretty consistent with the rest of the night. You see we've once again really closed up to the back of Harley here, and again in the 37.9s, which I'm really happy with. So we're just trying to keep on that momentum. Obviously being sort of in this train as well, it's never going to be the full potential of pace, because obviously other drivers up ahead might brake a little bit earlier or brake in a bit of a different angle, and you can see there me just sort of take my hand off the wheel there to say to Harley that we're not racing, just keep pushing ahead on Sam, and that caused me to hit the barrier. But as you did see, there was a checkered flag on the left hand side, which did signify the end of the race. So we're coming around now on the last corner here, waiting to see if Harley can make any sort of move, but obviously it's virtually impossible here round at Bristol. So we come across the line here in 3rd place with a 38.121. So that does in fact bring us to the end of the video, and I hope you have enjoyed it. So instead of having a little bit of a longer video, we're just going to jump to some post-day thoughts, and I'll have a catch up with you in a second. Okay then guys, so that brings us to the end of the video. Now as you can see, we've only got footage from the second heat. I thought it was the best racing of the night. I really enjoyed racing behind Sam and Harley. They really put on a good show, and from 2 of the faster members at the track at the moment, it really was good to see and be able to keep up with them. So as you saw, our fastest lap was a 37.8, which I'm really happy with. It was the fastest lap of the night so far at that point, so really able to stay on the pace of some of the front guys. So instead of being able to film the last final race of the evening, the A final, unfortunately my camera has not recorded it, so I'll give you a little rundown on what happened. So from finishing in 3rd in every heat, in the 1st, 2nd and 3rd heat, obviously as I mentioned, I was just sort of sitting behind Sam and Harley, letting them battle it out for their championship. Obviously they were both in contention with 6 points between them in the lightweight championship. So we finished in 3rd in every heat, and that left us to qualify in 5th for the A final, which I was quite happy with. Obviously if I was racing a bit harder, I probably would have been a little bit further up, but From there, we sort of went round the first corner, hit the back of Kelvin, who started in 4th, and then from there we had Andreas behind me in 6th. He sort of snuck through, and then from there the race sort of went downhill. So we had another driver, Oliver Payne. He sort of went for some audacious moves, and he sort of got a few penalties, and then I sort of got a bit upset with it, sort of gave a bit back. So it was a bit of messy racing. It wasn't very PG for YouTube, so probably a good thing that it didn't really record. And then Kelvin's karts, the brakes allegedly cut out, so that caused him to have to stop and get repositioned in 4th place. So from all that, I believe we finished in 6th place in the A final, but that did in fact leave us finishing at the top of the championship by 26 points, which I was really happy with, and really happy that I've won my first championship now that we can just put under our belts, and hopefully look for many more in the future. So in the meantime, I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. If you have, can you please leave a like on it down below, and if you are new to the channel, can you also hit the subscribe button, as it really does help me out. We have a few more events coming soon. Obviously, I'm looking to go back down to the track, down to Teamsport Bristol, because BIKC is beginning the qualifying. So we're going to go down at the time of recording next Monday to try and give it a go and see what sort of times we can put in. Obviously, want to be as quick as possible and be in the top 24 drivers, which I think we'll do quite comfortably. But it'll be good to be near the top. So as always, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.